I'm going to stand in the back because I want you to see me. The first thing I want to do is commend our Board of Education and our superintendent for putting on this public forum. You've done an outstanding job of exemplifying what's going on in our city school system, and you ought to be applauded for that. But I think that you were sidetracked by some of the questions that you were asked to dilute some of the excellence that you have been able to achieve. And I think that it's a great injustice to you, to the staff, and to the students of Valdosta City School System. I would hope that in your next forum that you would adopt a new format where you will allow the people who actually write the question to come up to the mic and address the question. I think that you were sidetracked with folks that had a learning curve, that were able to get the data that they already knew the answers to prior to the meeting, and knew that you didn't have the answers to those questions. And they caught you off guard. And that's simply not fair, because we can take data any kind of way we want to and stretch it any way we want to stretch it to. The question that we have about consolidation, the people that came to this forum, they still want consolidation. You have not swayed them one way or the other. You've only given them more fire, and now they're after you more than ever. The telemarketer that called my house last night, that was just a tip of the iceberg. You are on their target, and I want you to know that you are being targeted. You're being targeted as a Board of Education that wants to commit to the status quo, and that you have your heads buried in the sand, and you think that there is no room for improvement. When all the improvements and all the things that you have talked to us about tonight is going on in your school district, it is simply just not enough, because the people that are for the consolidation of our school system are not convinced, because education of our boys and girls is not on the top of their priority list. Thank you.
Was there anyone else who had a question that was not asked? Go ahead.
Will consolidation affect class sizes?
In this, once again, based on experience, short term, absolutely, it will be affected.
Would they go up or go down?
Up.
I had just one thing I wanted to clarify that was stated earlier. At this point, we have 9 school board members that are representing 7,733 students. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if the consolidation takes place, we would then have 7 school board members representing almost 20,000 students?
As Mr. Lee said, based on state law.
Okay, thank you.
The students who have individual education plans, how would it affect them if consolidation takes place?
The students that have individual education plans, that would still be required for those to be implemented, no matter if we are 1 district or 2 districts. However, I believe strongly in our special education program in Valdosta City Schools. I worked in our special education program for 8.5 years, and we do a fantastic job at meeting the needs of a very diverse population of students with special needs.
Okay, that's well and good, but you'll have an increase of students with less educators. How can they keep up with it?
You would still have to comply to the class size rules.
Question: how will it affect the students? They're having a hard time now meeting the needs of some of the students.
I'm not sure what you're alluding to. Can you restate your question in a way that I feel like I can answer it?
Okay.
I'm not proficient in special education, but I'm just speaking of programs in general. there is going to be an area where we're speaking that there are going to be some students that may fall through the cracks through this transition. And it may be across the board in all of our programs, not just the students that have IEPs. It could be our students that are currently taking the IB program or the ones that are in VECA. We're really not sure of exactly what's going to happen with the programs that we have existing in our system, except for the ones that are mandated by the state that have to continue to be addressed. So we're really not sure of how it's going to actually be affected if it does happen in that manner. So to give a specific answer to say, well, this is what's going to happen, I don't think we should really answer that.
I think the answer I'm looking for is we'll do our best to accommodate, not talk around the situation.
Something that comes from Lowndes County School Board and not from us.
That's true. But
It would be Lowndes County Board of Education's decision and their programming that would make those decisions.
okay. Well, would they work with educators that have them down? It's
We don't know, just as Mr. Lee stated earlier, that's unknown. It would be their decision to hire our teachers or to hire additional teachers to meet the needs of students, not just students with disabilities, but all of our children.
If the Lowndes Board of Education, Lowndes County School Systems can provide a much better education, does anybody know why the leadership of the Huey group send their children to Valwood?
I too, like Mr. Allen, want to commend the board for having this forum. And to answer your question, there's a couple of Huey members right here you can ask at the end of the meeting about the Valwood situation. One thing I do want to clarify, and there's been a lot of things that the board has been, situations the board has been put in to ask questions to that they couldn't possibly answer. First of all, there has never been a model that we're going through right now in the state of Georgia. In other words, there's never been a group of people who decided that they wanted to take over a school system for their benefit. So there is no model. So when we ask the board these questions, don't be disappointed when you don't get the answers you want because they can't answer them. They cannot tell you if Lowndes County is going to adopt our IB program. They can't. But I can tell you this, when Lowndes County had an opportunity to get the IB program, they turned it down. So when we ask the board these questions, they can't answer the questions. But see, that's what Huey wants. Huey wants our board to be at the defensive. But the questions that was asked, these last 5 or 6 questions that was asked the board, Huey knew why they were asking them. They want the confusion to be here. But one thing you must understand, where we'll be going from a system of 7,000 to 20,000. If anyone tells you that there will not be busing, they're mistaken. You have a school in Lowndes County, Cliveville Elementary, that is currently 98% white children in one school. You have a school in Pineville that has about 97% African American children or minority children going. There is no way the federal government will allow you to have a system that way. They will not allow that. There is no way that we can look at this system and say you're going to go to 7 board members when predominantly African Americans are living on the south side of our population, are living on the south side. Our community would no longer be represented. Huey knows this, but they turn around and they throw the race card another kind of way. Don't let Huey take our system. Ms. Brown has done very well explaining the progress of this system. Numbers don't lie. Ask Huey factual questions. Don't allow them to hijack this system without giving us a plan. They can't give us a plan. They want you to come up with a plan. They want you and Miles to come up with a plan and say, they don't care about destroying this. They're doing this for their economic reasons, their economic reasoning. And again, let the folks at QE come forward and put their faces to a name. Let Mr. Griffin stand up and stop hiding and say exactly why he's trying to hijack this system. See, I know why he's trying to hijack the system, because we've met and we've talked about it. But let him be man enough to come forward and tell it's because of economic reasons. I'm sorry. It's not fair. So don't let them get away with it. Vote no for consolidation.
Yes, I have a question for Huey. Have they ever understand what would happen to the kids? How will it affect them by combining consolidation with school? Do they care about the kids?
Ma'am, QE is not represented on the stage. These are administrators and school board members, the superintendent from the city of Valdosta.
I'm just saying, if they consolidate, how they ever consider what would happen to the kids? How would they feel? How would the kids feel going to another school if they consolidate?
Could you say that again into the mic? You can put it down to you. There you are.
What I'm saying, I'm standing up for the kids. How would they feel like if Valdosta's kids have to consolidate to Lowndes? Have they ever thought of their feelings?
You're asking that question of these board members and administrators?
I know they cannot answer it, but he was saying that the QE is in the building.
But they're not up here.
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry. Any other questions that did not get asked or answered?
First, I'd like to thank the committee that was appointed, the chairman, in regards to getting our forums together. I'd like to thank Ms. Fisher, Ms. Wilson, Ms. Fluker, and one more. Okay, I'd like to thank that committee for an outstanding job that they've done. Our superintendent, our central office, for working so diligently and putting everything together. I'd like to thank all of our administrators, all of our teachers who work so hard for our system. I want you to know, I'd like to thank our kids. Sometimes we leave our kids out for working so hard in the classroom. And the question was asked. I have had the opportunity to talk to several kids, and they love their system, and I guess that makes me fight harder for it. I'd like to thank Dr. Kaysen for continuing to do the job that he said he could do when he got this position. And right now, I'd like to just thank everyone that came out tonight. Even though I know why, I feel like I do know why some are not here. Transportation is still a problem in this city, but I want to let you know that I appreciate everyone coming out tonight to support the Valdosta Board of Education and the city school system. On behalf of the Valdosta Board of Education, Again, I thank you for coming out, but I want to let you know that we're facing one of the most difficult challenges that we have ever faced since I've been on the Valdosta Board of Education, and that is consolidation. We've talked about it for years, but now it's for real. We all said we love our schools, and I know we do. We must fight for our schools, no question about it. In the weeks to come, they're going to be very difficult. I hope that each one of us will search our hearts, think about our kids first, think about the hard work that our teachers do, our administrators, our superintendent, and think about the hard decisions, as have been said, in regards to financial cuts that we have continued to have a system second to